slashing against my car. Suddenly, I saw a figure on the side of the road. It was a woman with long dark hair and a white dress. She looked lost and frightened. I stopped my car and got out to help her. As I approached her, I noticed that she was soaking wet and shivering with cold. "Are you okay?" I asked her, but she didn't say a word. She just looked at me with big, sad eyes. Suddenly, she disappeared into thin air, as if she was never there in the first place. I was terrified. I got back into my car and drove away as fast as I could. But the image of the woman stayed with me. Who was she? What was she doing on the side of the road in the middle of the night? I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was not right. A few days later, I decided to investigate. I asked around the local area, and eventually I found out that there was a legend of a ghost who haunted the road. They called her the Lady in White. According to the legend, she was a young bride who died on her wedding day, and now her ghost wandered the road, searching for her lost love. I was skeptical at first, but then I started experiencing strange things. At night, I would hear strange noises outside my house. Sometimes I would see a figure standing in the distance watching me. I was sure it was the Lady in White. One night, I decided to confront her. I drove to the road where I first saw her and got out of my car. The wind was howling and the rain was lashing against me, but I didn't care. I was determined to solve this mystery once and for all. Suddenly, I heard a faint voice calling my name. "Help me," it whispered. I looked around, but there was nobody there. Then I heard it again. "Help me." This time it was louder. I followed the voice, and it led me to an old, abandoned house. I pushed open the door and stepped inside. The air was musty and damp, and the floorboards creaked under my feet. As I walked through the dark hallway, I heard the voice again. "Help me." It was coming from the end of the hallway. I walked towards it, and suddenly the floor gave way beneath me. I fell through the floor and landed in a dark, damp cellar. The air was thick with the smell of mold and decay. I looked around, and to my horror, I saw a figure standing in the corner. It was the Lady in White. She was staring at me with big, sad eyes. "Help me," she whispered. I tried to get up and run, but my leg was broken. I was trapped in the cellar with the ghost. For hours, I lay there, listening to the ghostly whispers of the Lady in White. She told me her story. She was a young bride who died on her wedding day. Her groom had abandoned her at the altar, and she was heartbroken. She had wandered the road ever since, searching for her lost love. As the night wore on, I felt a strange sensation. It was as if the Lady in White was draining my life force. I could feel my energy leaving me, and I knew that I was going to die. Suddenly, I heard a voice outside the cellar door. It was a group of paranormal investigators who had been tracking the Lady in White for years. They had finally found her. They opened the door and shone their flashlights into the cellar. The Lady in White screamed and vanished into thin air. The investigators helped me out of the cellar and called for an ambulance. I was taken to the hospital with a broken leg and severe dehydration. But I was alive. After my experience, I became obsessed with the paranormal. I joined the group of investigators who had saved my life, and we went on to solve many more mysteries. But the Lady in White stayed with me. I couldn't forget her sad eyes and her tragic story. Years later, I returned to the abandoned house where I had almost died. I wanted to see if the Lady in White was still there. As I walked through the old hallway, I felt a chill run down my spine. But this time, it was different. There was no ghostly whispering, no eerie atmosphere. I realized that the Lady in White was finally at peace. She had been saved from her eternal wandering, and she could rest in peace. As I left the abandoned house, I felt a sense of closure. I had faced my fears and survived, and the Lady in White had found her